Hey Camille, it's me, Connor, your reading buddy, and I'm going to read you If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss. If I ran the circus. In all the whole town, the most wonderful spot is behind Sneelak's store in the big vacant lot. It's just the right spot for my wonderful plans, said young Morris McGurk, if I clean up the cans. Now, a fellow like me, said young Morris McGurk, could get rid of this junk with a half-hour's work. I could yank up those weeds and chop down the dead tree and haul off those old cars. There are just 2 or 3. And then the whole place would be ready, you see. All ready to put up the tents for my circus. I think I will call it the Circus McGurkus. The Circus McGurkus, the world's greatest show. On the face of the earth, or wherever you go. The Circus McGurkus, the cream of the cream, the Circus McGurkus, the Circus Supreme. The Circus McGurkus, colossal, stupendous, astounding, fantastic, terrific, tremendous. I'll bring in my acrobats, jugglers, and clowns. I'll bring from 1,033 faraway towns to the place that you'll see and ladies and gents, right behind Sneelak's store in the great McGurk tents. And I don't suppose old Sneelak will mind when he suddenly has a big circus behind. After all, Sneelak is one of my Mr. Sneelak is one of my friends. He might even help out doing small odds and ends. Doing little odd jobs. He could be of some aid, such as selling balloons and pink lemonade. I think 500 gallons would be about right, and then I'll be ready for opening night. What an opening night, what a night, what a sight. I'll hoist up my curtains, the crowds will come in. My Circus McGurkus will properly begin with a welcoming toot of my welcoming horn by my horn-tooting apes from the jungles of Jorn, where my very best horn-tooting apes are, where the very best horn-tooting apes are all born, because the very fresh air there is fine for their lungs, and some of those fellows have 2 or 3 tongues. This way, step right on in. This way, ladies and gents. My sideshow starts in the first of my tents. When you see what goes on, you'll say there's no other circus is half as great as the Circus McGurkus. Here on stage 1, from the ocean of Ulf, is the sight most amazing, a walrus named Ralph, who can stand on one whisker, this wonderful Ralph, on top of 5 balls, 2 tennis balls, 3 golf, and it's a marvelous trick, if I say so myself. And And on stage number 2, here's a here is something quite new. From the country called From comes this drum-tummied snum that who can drum any tune that you might care to hum. It doesn't hurt him a bit because his drum tummy's numb. And now you'll meet the Foon, the remarkable Foon who can eat sizzling red hot pebbles that fall from the moon. And the reason he likes them red hot, it appears, is he greatly enjoys bellowing smoke from his ears. Of course, pebbles like this are hard to collect, but Sneelock will manage. After all, Sneelock is one of my friends, and I am sure he'll help out doing small odds and ends. On stage number 4, see the Willy Waloo, who can throw his long tail as a sort of lasso. With a flip of his hip, with a tail of this kind, he can capture whatever is standing behind. He can capture old Sneelock. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. And now here is a hoodwink, who winks in his wink hood. Without a good wink hood, a hoodwink can't wink good. And folks, let me tell you, there's only one circus with a wink-hooded hoodwinks, the Circus McGurkus. A show of all shows. There's no other showman who shows you a show with a blindfolded bowman. The blindfolded bowman from Bigger by Root, the world's sharpest sharpshooter. Look at him shoot. Through the holes of 4 donuts, 2 hairs on a worm, and the knees of 3 birds, without making them squirm. And then threw a crab apple on the head of old Sneelock, who likes to help out, as I've said. And now, come into this spotlight, where the spotlight is hot, and you'll see in the spotlight a juggling Jot, who can juggle some stuff you might think he could not, such as 22 question marks, which is a lot, also 44 commas, and also 1 dot. That's the kind of Circus McGurkus I've got. But that's just my sideshow, a start, a beginning. This way to the big tent, you'll find your head spinning. My ladies and gentlemen, youngsters and oldsters, your heads will likely spin right off your shoulders. So hurry, step lively, quick, ladies and gents, and get your seats in my tent of all tents. My parade of parades is about to commence. You'll see Drum Major Sneelock flang his baton, and my organ McGurkus come on, with its hot steaming pipes of gold brass plated tin, snorting all sorts of snorts in a bumbling din. That is super stupendous, stupendous, stupendous. And now I play Dixie. Please join me in the chorus. Then a fluff muffled truffle will ride a huffle, and next in the line a flum flummox will carry next in line, and next in the line a fine flummox will shuffle. The flummox will carry a lurch in a pail, and a fibble will carry the flummox's tail. Well, on top of the flummox, 3 harp twanging snarp will twang mighty twangs on their 3 sniper harp. Well, a bolster blows. Well, a bloster blows boops on his 3-nozzle blower, and a noser blows floops on his 1-nozzled nozzler. And then comes a lion who's partly a trout, and more stuff for 45 minutes about. Then behind them, while everyone stares, comes my to and fro marchers, who march in 5 layers. The froes march on toes, and the toes march on froes. Don't ask me how they do it, but that's how it goes. And now comes an act of enormous. No performers performed this performance. This stunt is too gripping, slipping, frightening, down on the top of my head like greased lightning, through pots of lots of prickle bush trees. Slides a man. What a man on roller skis. He'll steer without fear, and you'll know at a glance that it's Sherlock, the man who takes chance after chance. He won't even rip a small hole in his pants. And now here, this is a cage. In this cage is a beast, most ferocious, who's known far and wide as the spotted atrocious. He growls, howls, and yowls, most blood-curdling sounds, and each tooth in his mouth weighs at least 60 pounds. And he chews and eats with the greatest of ease things like carpets, sidewalks, people, and trees. But the greatest Colonel Sneelock is just the right kind of man who can tame him. I'm sure he won't mind. Then I'll let Sneelock off for a few minutes rest, while high over your heads you'll see the best of the world's finest, fanciest breeze trapping my zoom troop from the west upper Bendenzing, who never quite know why they zoop and they zoom, whether they can carry that one or who will catch whom, or if they will catch which what by what and just where, or just how in which part of the air. I were the circus, my circus McGurkus. My workers will love work. They'll say, work us, please work us. We'll work and work up so many surprises. You never see half if you had 40 eyes. Now against Sneelock, risking life on my part in life-risking track. Well, the speedsters I called all my colliding colossuses conclusions raced around in swift cars called abrasion contusions. And Sneelock will just lie there, not one bit excited. I know he won't mind. He'll be simply delighted. And here, a contest of brute strength and muscle. Kind Kid Sneelock, my champ of all champs, will now tussle and wrestle a beast called the Grizzly Ghastly, and slap him around, and then he'll slam him down fast and pin both shoulders tight flat on the mat. Kid Sneelock will love it. I'm sure about that. Well, that goes on there. Look at this go on here. Have you heard of my herd of through horn jumping deer? Every deer jumps through the horn of another pell-mell, while his horns are getting jumped through at the same time as well by a deer who also are getting jumped through by another who's having his horns jumped through too, which I'm sure Trainer Sneelock can train them to do. When the whole tent will rise with hoorays and wild shouts, I wheel in my whales, and they turn on their spouts. I whale number one with an aim that aims true, spouts a spout that spouts Sneelock to whale number two. And then whale number two spouts like a gun, and that spouts old Sneelock right back to whale one. And then forwards and backwards on spout after spout. My great spout rider Sneelock will get spouted about, just as long as the water the spouting holds out. Then my tournament knights, noble apes without fears. Sir Hector, Sir Vector, Sir Bops and Sir Beers. Sir Hawkins, Sir Dawkins, Sir Jawkins and Sir Jeers, clattering in the tent while everyone cheers. Stage a roustabout joust with their black boxing glove spears. And while the wild ruckus goes on below, at the top of the tent, look, the star of my show, great daredevil Sneelock, the world's bravest type. He comes pulled through the air by three sorb and snipe on a dingus contraption attached to his pipe, while people below are all turning chalk white and biting their fingernails off in fright. great Sneelock soars up at a terrible height. Then he shakes himself loose. He starts to dive. Such man on earth could come out alive. But he smiles as he falls, and no fear does he feel. His nerves are like lion, his muscles are like steel. And he plunges down, 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 his hair still combed neat, 4,692 feet. And then he'll land in a fishbowl. He'll manage just fine. Don't ask how he'll manage. That's his job, not mine. Hey, why? He'll be a hero. Of course he won't mind when he finds out he has a big circus behind. The end. Thanks for listening.